Alright guys, so some of you have been asking me to do an account showcase for my accounts. So here you guys go. I'm gonna do an account showcase for my free-to-play account first. For those of you guys who do not know, by the way, I actually play two accounts regularly. One is this free-to-play account, which I'm gonna showcase today, and then the second one is actually my main account, which I do buy the monthly pass and also monthly cube packs. So that one is more of a small spender. And I'll probably showcase that in a separate video in the future, but today it's just going to be on this free-to-play account first, okay? Now, let me go back to the origin of this account, I guess, in terms of like why do I play a second account, being this free-to-play account? So mainly because on my main account I was a small spender, so I'm not going to risk it for certain characters such as Hollow Purple Gojo, also saving it up for just unlimited characters and also hidden inventory banners, etc. So I was being very careful on my main account. However, also being a content creator, I also know because I want to create content for Illusory Tower, and before Mojito was added into the game, it was pretty much really difficult to do any guides on the later floors in Illusory Tower because I was just hard stuck on floor 22 to 24, which are the green floors. I know some people were able to like beat this brute forces through with like a 5-dupe Gojo, but once again, my other account was a small spender, so I don't have a 5-dupe Gojo to showcase that either. So in order to actually make content on the later floors for Illusory Tower, it kind of forced me to actually have an account with Hollow Purple Gojo. However, that wasn't actually the time when I actually rerolled for this account because I was actually rerolling during the time period when there was both Megumi banner and also both of JJK0 banner of Yuta and also Blue Ghetto. So that was the time when I rerolled. Obviously, at the time, I didn't realize Global was going like lightning speed and Hollow Purple Gojo will be added straight away afterwards. So that was the time when I rerolled, but luckily I eventually was able to get Hollow Purple Gojo afterwards as well, with about I think like 40 or 30 summons. So it didn't take me that long, and I was pretty happy that I managed to get it because then this become my main account. Well, I mean, it's not my main account because I didn't spend any money, but it was the account that was then used to create vast majority of my YouTube content in December before then Mojito was then added into the game later on in January, and then I actually then pivoted to my main account because I can actually now be off the green floors where the difficult floor was the Mojito stall strategy. So that's kind of the origin of why I have a second account, which has been this free-to-play account in the first place. Now, in terms of characters, obviously all character SL character I have all of them, including Gakuganji. I mean, I advocated everyone, like including free to play, to summon for him. Like even if I had to hit all the way to 60 summon pity, I think it took me like 40 summons on this account in order to actually get him, which is totally worth it in my opinion. So I do have all of the SR characters, and I think I probably have all of them are high dupes as well. Uh, Yaga 5 dupe, Nanami 5 dupe, Momo 5 dupe, Gakuganji 5 dupe, uh, uh, forgot her name now. Shoko at 5 dupe, SR Kaida at 5 dupe. So yeah, I have vast majority of them at 5 dupe. At least all of the ones that are used frequently. And you can see those are the main 5 that are used frequently. SR Kaida I use it every now and then, but not that often. So that's just left at level 80. So this is basically a situation with my uh SR characters. And you can see I concentrated a lot of my resources in terms of my supporter characters. So you can see here Yaga buff at level 10, Nanami buff at level 10, Gakuganji debuff at level 10, and then Momo also have her buff at level 9 as well. So I definitely spent a lot of resources into my SR supporters because in some sense, no matter what DPS you're going to use, you are always going to use some combination of those four supporters. So that's kind of why I know it's always going to be a good investment for me to level up their skills, etc. Because in some sense, they are actually the characters I use the most. Because the DPS, I only use it, 25% of the time, depending on what color it is. But the supporters, I'll always be using them. Okay. Now, in terms of the SR characters, I basically have all of the standard banner characters. So basically, if you take a look, there are 9 standard banner characters right now before the pool obviously get updated soon. But basically, I have Blue Gojo, so this are 2 dupe, Nobara at 2 dupe, and then I have Yuji at 1 dupe, Panda at 1 dupe, Blue Megumi at 2 dupes, then Toge at 1 dupe, Nanami at 1 dupe, Maki at 1 dupe, and Toda at 0 dupe. So basically, you can see I definitely have all 9, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I have all 9 of the standard banner character which are available right now, and all of them apart from Todo is at least 1 dupe. And it's quite nice that both my Nobara and Blue Gojo, who obviously are the strongest two out of the standard pool right now, they actually have 2 dupes as well. And I meant to get all of them obviously through the very different free ticket and hit the imagery summons, but I also actually spent a lot of tickets early on in this game because I mean it started off not realizing I actually need a free to play account in order to have great content with Hollow Pepper Gojo. So I didn't really, I kind of wasted a lot of tickets early on during the reroll process. But that's the way it is. I still have 198 summon tickets available for when the standard pool actually get updated, and hopefully I can actually get some of those newer characters. Because once again, if you actually take a look at my character pool, I don't actually have any of those known standard banner characters other than Hollow Purple Gojo and also Incomplete Domain Megumi. So I know the game gave us loads of like free tickets for some of those more, let's say, less useful banners. But I don't have any of them. I wasn't lucky enough to get it with like the free ticket for any of them. So hopefully I'm able to get a few more of those more OP characters like SSR Momo and also Yellow Nanami once they actually added to the pool. Other than obviously Hollow Purple Gojo and Incomplete Domain Megumi, who will be in the pool soon. The other SR character I have is going to be both limited character of Yuta and Ghetto, because that's kind of what I was re-rolling for. This Yuta was only duped from Universal Dupe, so I only got 1 copy of Yuta. And then other than that, I have 2 hidden inventory character, which is Tin Gojo and also Toji. They actually took me a lot of my summons. There was a summon video on my channel if you do actually want to check it out, but they almost ate up all of my cubes available, and that's kind of why I'm pretty low on cubes right now at only 28k. So that's kind of the situation with my SR characters. And then for the Phantom Medal, right? I say most day one players would have been able to exchange for 3 characters by now. I basically went for Hanami plus 2 copies of Mahito. So my Mahito is at 1 dupe and Hanami is at 0 dupe. So that's basically the situation with all of my SSR characters. Now in terms of their levels, so they are really heavily invested. So, for example, my Hollow Purple Gojo is level 10 in both of ultimate attack and also debuff. My Blue Gojo, once again, level 10 in both of the buff and also ultimate attack, because, that's your DPS of each color. You kind of need to get them invested. And then for my Yuta, I only have the ultimate at level 9, but that was enough for me to beat vast majority of, well, I mean, to beat all of the hard content, because I am able to finish off Illusory Tower, right? I'm at level 50 for Illusory Tower, which is probably no surprise to you guys since I created guides for them. But yeah, so level 9 ult on Yuta is actually enough, provided it's at 1 dupe and also um, stamped as well. Okay, so that's basically going to be enough on Yuta. And then yellow is a bit of a tricky situation because basically I was initially starting off with Nobara on this account, but then eventually I do manage to get my Gojo. But as a result, my resources in terms of my yellow DPS are kind of split. So I have my Gojo at level 9 ult and also my Nobara at level 9 ult. Whereas theoretically, if I really wanted to min-max, I should have just focused on one of them to get it to level 10. But that's kind of the situation with yellow characters. And once again, it's enough for me to beat all of the yellow floors in Illusory Tower. So there isn't really any need for me to max it out to level 10 anyway. Okay, now Illusory Tower, obviously I managed to beat all the 50 floors. So just to show once again, it's free to play, doable, right? It's doable. I'll have content on all of the on my channel for all of the floors from 20 onwards. And a lot of time I try to prioritize my recollection and character to be free to play friendly as well. So if you are having trouble on beating this as a free to play, then just check out my channel. I didn't even have to use Hollow Purple Gojo for some of the content. I do have guides for without Hollow Purple Gojo and Incomplete Domain Megumi. So those are definitely not the reason why I'm able to beat all 50 floors as a free to play. Okay, now that's I think the last thing I'll probably need to show is going to be the recollections. Now, recollection wise, I have all of the important ones. So, for example, I do have non-standard at 5 dupes, unity at 5 dupes, a wisher from past at 3 dupes, and also mutual trust at 4 dupes. I think those four are probably the only ones I feel like is somewhat like essential in order for some of the harder content. And I do have all of them, which is quite lucky. I do have both all three of the limited recollection as well from JJK 0, because once again I was rerolling for uh Ghetto and also Utah, so I did spend a lot of summons there. And I do have, for example, this one strongest duo as 3 dupe. I mean, those is because of the universal dupes, but I do have this one and also this one, which is another limited recollection, which is very strong, and also this one, which is not actually very good, but it's still a limited recollection. So that's basically my recollection point of view, and you will see that I actually leveled up some of my SR recollection as well, because once again, just to show you guys, for Illusory Tower, actually I love the SR recollection, actually incredibly useful. And the main ones that you'll see me using like pretty much all the time is going to be this one, which is able to give passive ability, give a permanent 10% damage taken decrease, and also this one, which give a 10% permanent curse technique increase. So you'll see me use this two recollection all the time in my guides for Illusory Tower. But other than that, this one is also incredibly useful, right, for a lot of the content. And also this two can be useful for every now and then as well. So that's the situation with my SR recollections, and you can see I have actually leveled down pretty high just to show you guys some of the SR recollection are really good. And similarly for R recollections, I have this one at level 60, and this is the other one I also use a lot. So those two are by far the best R recollections out there. Maybe also this one, if you don't have a wish from past, this one can be useful as well. But yeah, so those three are probably the only useful R recollection in my opinion. And I have definitely invested in, for example, this one, which is actually very useful. So some of the harder content in the tower mode as well. Okay.